Tonight, I invite you to join me on a journey through the sands of ancient Egypt. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and leave the world around you behind for a little while. Together, we are traveling to the heart of a powerful and mysterious kingdom. And at the very center of this kingdom stands one of the most captivating women in history. Her name? Nefertiti. Imagine the warmth of the Egyptian sun on your skin, the shimmering silver ribbon of the Great Nile River in the distance. The air is filled with the scent of lotus flowers drifting from ancient temples, and a soft breeze gently sways the giant palm leaves. Now, picture a woman walking through the majestic palaces built by hands that worship gods as old as time itself in these ancient lands. Her beauty and power have transcended centuries, reaching us even today. Nefertiti. Her very name echoes elegance, grandeur, and strength. She was not just a queen, she was a symbol of an era. The people of Egypt gazed upon her with admiration, and her figure was carved into the stones of great temple halls, her gaze powerful, her stance commanding. But behind this flawless exterior, there was so much more. Alongside her husband, Pharaoh Akhenaten, she led Egypt through one of the greatest transformations in its history. Nefertiti, at the heart of this vast and powerful kingdom, enchanted not only her people but also the world throughout history with her beauty and might. Yet, behind the elegance and splendor that her name embodies lies a great mystery. For years, historians and archaeologists have tried to fully uncover her origins and who she really was. The name Nefertiti means the beautiful one has come, but she was known for far more than just her beauty. Her intelligence and remarkable leadership skills made her one of the most powerful women of her time. Imagine what it meant to be a woman with such immense power in ancient Egypt. It was far more than a typical role of a queen. Nefertiti was not only the wife of Pharaoh Akhenaten, she embarked on a bold journey with him to transform Egypt's ancient religious beliefs. Together, they abandoned the traditional gods and became pioneers of a new faith devoted to a single god, Aten. Nefertiti's early years remain shrouded in mystery. Some historians believe she came from a noble Egyptian family, while others suggest she may have been a princess from outside Egypt. Yet, in both cases, her charisma and intelligence at a young age led her to stand beside the most powerful man in Egypt, Akhenaten. Her ability to attract such attention as a young woman foreshadowed the incredible things she would achieve in the years to come. When Nefertiti married Akhenaten, she became more than just a wife, she became part of Egypt's most powerful couple. Their marriage wasn't simply a love story, it symbolized a political and religious partnership. Together, Akhenaten and Nefertiti set out to dismantle Egypt's traditional polytheistic belief system and promote the worship of the sun disk, Aten. Nefertiti's marriage not only elevated her influence in the kingdom, but it also allowed her to rise as an equal leader alongside Akhenaten. Queens were often figures that stayed in the background, overshadowed by their pharaoh husbands. But Nefertiti broke these molds. She is depicted in Egyptian wall paintings seated like a pharaoh, offering sacrifices in temples, and even seen in scenes of battle. The art from that period clearly shows that Nefertiti was not just a queen standing by her husband's side, but a ruler who shared the burden of governance with him. How could a woman in ancient Egypt gain so much power? The answer lies in the fact that Nefertiti was both loved by the people and deeply trusted by the pharaoh. While contemporary sources often highlight her beauty and grace, her real strength came from her intelligence and strategic mindset. Akhenaten saw her as a full partner in his revolutionary religious changes. Without her support, it would have been nearly impossible to carry out such a monumental transformation. Nefertiti was not only remembered as Akhenaten's wife, but also as a powerful leader who backed one of the greatest religious revolutions in Egypt. During this time, the worship of Ammonius and the traditional gods was abolished, and Aten was established as the sole deity of Egypt. Nefertiti's commitment to this religious transformation shows just how radical she was as a leader. Together with her husband, they challenged Egypt's traditional gods and modes of worship, making them a dangerous pair in the eyes of both the people and the priests. Throughout this great revolution, Nefertiti didn't merely stand beside Akhenaten but became a symbol of this new religious order. She was the face of the new faith, powerful, determined, and redefining the role of women in this new world. Nefertiti's influence wasn't limited to religious reforms. She left a profound impact on Egypt's political and cultural life as well. Together with Akhenaten, they built a new capital, Akhenaten, known today as Amarna. This city was shaped by Nefertiti's influence. Imagine towering stone blocks being stacked upon each other as a new city rose along the banks of the Nile. Here, the old gods were absent. The new world of Nefertiti and Akhenaten was being built under the light of Aten. Amarna was far more than just an ordinary city. It was the physical manifestation of Nefertiti and Akhenaten's revolutionary vision. The temples, palaces, and monumental structures within the city differed greatly from traditional Egyptian architecture. This new capital was a challenge to the old order, and Nefertiti was at the center of this change. In the art and wall paintings of Amarna, we often find Nefertiti depicted in a way that resembles a pharaoh. She wasn't merely a queen, but sat on the throne like a ruler, leading ceremonies and becoming one of the key symbols of this new order. However, Nefertiti's influence extended beyond religious and political reforms. Her beauty inspired an entirely new aesthetic in Egyptian art. Her statues, with their wide crowns, elegant lines, and delicate facial features, presented Nefertiti almost like a goddess. Even today, her famous bust, which bears her likeness, has become an iconic symbol recognized around the world. This bust not only represents her beauty but also symbolizes her power and influence throughout Egyptian history. Nefertiti rose to the pinnacle of female leadership in ancient Egypt, shaping the art, architecture, and even the political structure of her time. Her influence wasn't only carved into the stones but deeply felt in the social fabric of Egypt. She guided one of the most powerful periods of Egyptian history, embodying the symbol of a new order as a woman in power. What made Nefertiti's influence truly unique was that she wielded almost as much power as a pharaoh in Egypt's political and religious structures. She wasn't just Akhenaten's wife or a queen, but was actively involved as a partner in governing Egypt. The only thing that distinguished her from the pharaohs was that she didn't officially carry the title of pharaoh, but her authority and influence rivaled that of the most powerful rulers of the era. Imagine how extraordinary it was for a woman to rise to such prominence in an ancient world where traditions were so deeply entrenched. While queens typically stood beside pharaohs, the true power always rested in the hands of the pharaohs themselves. But Nefertiti changed this tradition. In wall paintings, statues, and monuments, we see her standing beside Akhenaten, sometimes even on equal footing with him. In some depictions, Nefertiti is shown as even more prominent than Akhenaten. Her role in religious ceremonies, in particular, demonstrates how she was perceived almost like a deity by the Egyptian people and the priests. In the temples dedicated to Aten, Nefertiti is often shown illuminated by the sacred light of Aten. This clearly demonstrates her significance in the eyes of the people and the pivotal role she played in Egyptian society. She wasn't just Akhenaten's wife, but she was seen as nearly divine herself. By taking part in religious rituals and offering sacrifices in Aten's temples, Nefertiti strengthened her position in Egypt's religious beliefs. During Akhenaten's reign, Nefertiti's name and image spread across all of Egypt. Her likeness reached the farthest corners of the kingdom, and her beauty and power became a source of inspiration for the Egyptian people. But her influence wasn't limited to the admiration of the masses. Within the palace, she wielded great authority and had significant influence over Akhenaten's decisions. Some historians even suggest that Nefertiti ruled Egypt alone for a time. For a woman to possess such power during that period was extraordinary, not just for Egypt but for world history. Nefertiti secured her place as one of the most powerful and influential women of ancient Egypt, forever etching her name into history. One of the most debated topics among historians and archaeologists is Nefertiti's origins. The true background of this powerful Egyptian queen remains a mystery. It's as if her origin has been cloaked in secrecy throughout history. Some sources claim she was the daughter of a noble Egyptian family, while others argue that she may have been a princess from outside Egypt, perhaps from a neighboring kingdom like Mitanni. But one thing is certain, regardless of her origins, Nefertiti captivated Akhenaten's attention with her beauty, intelligence, and charisma. Considering the social structure of that time, it was unusual for a woman, especially a queen, to gain such immense power. However, what we know of Nefertiti's early years is quite limited. Still, her early displays of leadership and the impression she made on the people suggest she was no ordinary woman. The fact that a young woman could be so charismatic and commanding was the first sign that she would become one of the most powerful figures in Egypt's future. Some theories suggest that Nefertiti may have arrived at the Egyptian court at a young age. Before marrying Akhenaten, it's believed she had close ties to Egyptian nobility. Even in her youth, she was said to possess a regal bearing, grace, and a sharp intellect. Within the court, her beauty and cultural knowledge were quickly recognized, and over time, she gained the favor of Akhenaten. The elegance and leadership skills she exhibited in her youth were early indicators of how she would eventually shape Egypt's destiny. Though little is known about Nefertiti's past, her rapid rise to the pinnacle of Egyptian power was undoubtedly the result of the abilities she displayed at a young age. She was far more than just a princess or noblewoman. She had a vision for transforming Egypt. Her marriage to Akhenaten made her more than a wife or queen. It established her as a woman leader who would leave an indelible mark on history. Although it is challenging to fully illuminate Nefertiti's early years, understanding the social and political structure of Egypt at that time can help us better grasp her identity and rise to power. Egypt was a superpower, rich in wealth and cultural heritage, extending its influence across the Mediterranean and along the Nile River. Society was strictly hierarchical, with the pharaoh seen as a divine leader who communicated directly with the gods. The queen, while in the pharaoh's shadow, was a respected figure who supported him. However, Nefertiti transcended this traditional role, establishing herself firmly as a leader. When considering Nefertiti's youth, her ability to navigate this rigid social structure stands out. It's assumed that she was familiar with palace life before her marriage. The grandeur and wealth of the Egyptian court would have shaped her not just physically but socially as well. It's likely that Nefertiti found her place among the nobles who danced, sang, and orchestrated elaborate festivities in the palace. But what set her apart from other women wasn't just her beauty, it was her intellect and strategic thinking. During Nefertiti's formative years, Egypt's religious structure was extremely complex. In this polytheistic society, each god held a unique role and influence. Amun-Ra, the supreme god, reigned at the top, but other gods played significant roles in the daily lives of Egyptians. It is plausible that Nefertiti's education and upbringing amidst this religious diversity laid the groundwork for the major religious revolution she would later spearhead with Akhenaten. Even as a young woman, her deep understanding of the polytheistic belief system may have influenced her to take the bold steps later aimed at dismantling it entirely. Egypt's economic strength was also at its peak during this period. Trade routes brought immense wealth, transforming Egypt into both an economic and cultural hub. Nefertiti would have been raised amidst this wealth and luxury. Palace life was not only filled with political maneuvers but also with grandeur and art. It's very likely that Nefertiti developed an interest in art at a young age, which she later infused into Egypt's artistic and architectural development. The art of the Amarna period may well reflect Nefertiti's deep engagement with the arts. The experiences and knowledge Nefertiti gained in her youth undoubtedly shaped her vision for the future. She was not merely a participant in palace intrigue, instead, she understood the system and forged her own path within it. Her marriage to Akhenaten wasn't just a political alliance, it marked the beginning of a shared vision for Egypt's future. The experiences Nefertiti gained in her youth set her apart, drawing the attention of the most powerful man in Egypt, Akhenaten. Their marriage marked the beginning of a period that would radically transform Egyptian history. It wasn't just a union between two individuals, it was an alliance that would reshape Egypt's political and religious structures from the ground up. As Nefertiti rose to prominence during this new era, she didn't simply act as a queen by Akhenaten's side, she moved with the authority of a ruler. Akhenaten sought to upend Egypt's traditional polytheistic belief system and establish a monotheistic religion centered around the sun god, Aten. Nefertiti was not merely a supporter in this revolution, she became one of its most powerful advocates. As Akhenaten rejected worship of the traditional gods, especially Amun-Ra, and launched a massive reform, Nefertiti stood shoulder to shoulder with him. She was frequently depicted offering sacrifices in Aten's temples and leading religious ceremonies, demonstrating her profound role in Egypt's religious transformation. Perhaps the clearest evidence that their marriage was much more than a political alliance was the establishment of Egypt's new capital, Akhenaten, modern-day Amarna. Akhenaten and Nefertiti founded this city, leaving behind the symbols and deities of the old order. Amarna was unlike any city Egypt had ever seen before. It was not only a symbol of the new faith dedicated to Aten, but also a reflection of Nefertiti's deep interest in art and architecture. Her portraits were frequently found on the city's walls and in its temples, sometimes depicted alongside Akhenaten, but often portrayed as a dominant figure in her own right. This shows that Nefertiti had transcended the traditional role of a queen, acting as a sovereign in her own regard. Nefertiti's marriage to Akhenaten is proof that women could wield immense power even within the rigid hierarchy of ancient Egypt. She was more than just a wife or a queen, she was a leader as influential as the pharaoh in Akhenaten's political and religious revolutions. Together, they not only dismantled Egypt's religious structure but also brought profound changes to its art, culture, and governance. Nefertiti and Akhenaten tore down the old gods and led Egypt into a new future. However, this new order was not universally accepted. The traditional priesthood, particularly those devoted to Ammonius, fiercely resisted the end of their worship. Abandoning Egypt's deeply ingrained religious system sparked significant unrest, both among the populace and within the palace. This is where Nefertiti's determination and leadership came into play. Standing firm by Akhenaten's side, she defended the new faith and faced many challenges in the struggle to maintain their revolutionary changes. The revolution initiated by Nefertiti and Akhenaten in Egypt was not just a political transformation but a profound religious upheaval that dismantled the millennia-old belief system of ancient Egypt. Akhenaten, abandoning the traditional polytheistic faith, dedicated all his energy and belief to one god, the sun disk, Aten. This was an unprecedented event in Egyptian history. Gods such as Ammonius, Ra, Osiris, and others were integral to the daily lives of the Egyptian people and priests. Yet, Akhenaten and Nefertiti sought to overthrow this deeply rooted system. This new belief system centered on the worship of Aten, representing the sun as the source of all life. When Akhenaten declared Aten as Egypt's one true god, Nefertiti stood at the forefront of this revolution. In depictions of her at the temples of Aten, she is shown not just as a queen but as a spiritual leader of this new faith. Alongside Akhenaten, Nefertiti offered sacrifices to Aten, led religious ceremonies, and praised Aten's power before the people. This demonstrated that she was far more than an ordinary queen. She was a pioneer of this religious revolution. Egypt's polytheistic belief system was a cornerstone of the country's cultural, economic, and social structures. The priestly class, particularly those at the temple of Ammonius Ra, wielded immense power and wealth. However, Akhenaten and Nefertiti's devotion to Aten aimed to weaken this powerful class and fundamentally alter Egypt's economy and society. By banning the worship of traditional gods, Akhenaten closed the temples of Ammonius and other deities, broke the power of the priests, and forced all of Egypt's people to worship Aten. This sweeping change led to significant conflict both within the royal court and among the people. During this process, Nefertiti stood out as Akhenaten's most crucial supporter. Her faith in Aten ensured that she was always by the pharaoh's side. In the eyes of the people, Nefertiti became one of the chosen representatives of Aten. Together with Akhenaten, she guided the people in embracing this new god. Artistic depictions from the Amarna period frequently show Nefertiti with her hands raised to the sky under the rays of Aten, symbolizing her role as a religious leader and her influence over the people. These images were not just significant to the Egyptian populace but also symbolized Nefertiti's power and leadership. The worship of Aten was more than just a religious reform, it was a deep social and cultural change that touched every aspect of Egyptian life. Nefertiti became one of the most important symbols of this transformation. She was not only a figurehead of a religious revolution but also a symbol of the reshaping of an entire society. As Egypt gradually abandoned its old beliefs, Nefertiti's role in this process solidified her place in history even further. Nefertiti's role in the worship of Aten was far more than that of a wife or queen. She was an active leader working alongside Akhenaten to spread and solidify this new belief system among the people. Ending the worship of traditional gods and declaring Aten as the sole deity was a monumental shift, and convincing the Egyptian people to embrace this new faith was no easy task. This is where Nefertiti's charisma and leadership became crucial. She acted almost as Aten's earthly representative, working tirelessly to guide the people into adopting this new religious system. Her leadership extended beyond religious ceremonies. Nefertiti played a significant role in projects that glorified the new faith in both art and architecture. In particular, Amarna period art frequently depicted Nefertiti in scenes where she performed sacred duties under Aten's rays. These depictions clearly show that she wasn't merely a consort beside Akhenaten, but rather one of the primary symbols of this new religious order. Unlike traditional Egyptian art, Amarna art was more realistic and focused on human figures. Nefertiti's portraits became more pronounced during this time. Her delicate features, sharp eyes, and resolute expression were always emphasized. This new artistic style became a tool to reinforce Nefertiti's power and beauty in the minds of the people. The worship of Aten influenced not only the palace and temples but also everyday life. As the cults of Ammonius and other old gods were dismantled, new rituals and practices dedicated to Aten were developed. Nefertiti was at the heart of this process. She took an active role in ceremonies designed to encourage the people to worship Aten, leading grand festivals dedicated to the new god. While temples dedicated to the old gods were destroyed, new ones were erected for Aten, and Nefertiti had a say in these monumental projects. Her leadership and vision shaped not only religion but also art, culture, and society as a whole. Nefertiti's determination to spread Aten's worship made her not only a religious leader but also a political figure. Together with Akhenaten, she fought against the old priestly class and portions of the population that resisted this new religious order. While the traditional structure of Egypt was being shaken, Nefertiti's leadership helped guide a significant part of the population towards the worship of Aten. At the grand ceremonies held in the temples of Amarna, Nefertiti often took center stage. Under Aten's sacred rays, she offered sacrifices at the altars and raised her hands in prayer, becoming a divine figure in the eyes of the people. This process brought about a profound transformation within Egyptian society. Nefertiti was not only the symbol of this change but also its active representative. As new temples dedicated to Aten were constructed throughout Egypt, Nefertiti's figure found its place on the walls of these sanctuaries. Her strong and resolute presence elevated Aten's power in the eyes of the people. The radical religious revolution that Nefertiti and Akhenaten devoted to Aten left deep marks on Egyptian society. For centuries, Egypt had been rooted in a polytheistic belief system, and this new order brought with it a fundamental shift. The acceptance of Aten worship among the people meant dismantling the long-standing devotion to the traditional gods. But this was no easy task. The powerful priestly class, especially the Ammonius priests, showed significant resistance to this revolution. The priests saw the new system, which forced the people to worship Aten, as a threat, and this caused turmoil within the balance of power at the palace. During this period, Nefertiti was not just a supportive wife standing beside Akhenaten, she was a determined leader defending this new order. Her influence over the people played a critical role in the success of Akhenaten's reign. As Egypt's most powerful temples were closed and the priests' economic and political power diminished, the weakening of the Ammonius priesthood was not just a religious reform but a political maneuver by Nefertiti and Akhenaten. As the traditional priestly class lost its strength, the royal family filled the void, establishing a new order devoted to the worship of Aten. Throughout this process, Nefertiti's power and authority grew, both among the people and within the palace. For the Egyptian people, this change was a major shock. After centuries of worshipping gods like Ammonius, Ra, and Osiris, the populace was suddenly forced to believe that Aten was the one true god. Festivals, ceremonies, and rituals dedicated to the old gods were abruptly ended, and new rituals were developed for Aten. In ensuring that this new order was accepted by the public, Nefertiti played a key role. Her charisma and influence over the people provided a major advantage in helping Akhenaten's reforms gain acceptance. Nefertiti's active participation in royal ceremonies and public rituals demonstrated her importance as a religious leader in the eyes of the people. However, this religious reform did not merely change Egypt's belief system, it also had a profound impact on its art and culture. The Amarna period art, championed by Nefertiti, was vastly different from the traditional style of ancient Egypt. While earlier art depicted gods and pharaohs in exaggerated grandeur and magnificence, Amarna art took on a more realistic and human-centered approach. Nefertiti and Akhenaten embraced this new artistic style, and their figures were portrayed in a more natural, intimate way. Especially the elegant and determined portraits of Nefertiti reinforced both her beauty and her power in the eyes of the people. Statues and images of her crowned figure spread throughout Egypt, constantly reminding the people of her influence. During this time, Egyptian architecture also underwent a significant transformation. Traditional temples and palaces were replaced by massive structures dedicated to Aten. The Aten Temple at Amarna became a monumental embodiment of Nefertiti and Akhenaten's vision. These immense buildings were not only centers for religious ceremonies but also hubs of the new social order. As people gathered at these temples, they were constantly reminded of Nefertiti and Akhenaten's leadership. Yet, this revolution also created a social divide within Egypt. A deep rift formed between those who accepted the worship of Aten and those who remained loyal to the old gods. While part of the population embraced the new order, others held on to their traditional beliefs. Nefertiti and Akhenaten remained steadfast in their mission, guiding Egypt through this challenging period and demonstrating strong leadership as they shaped the nation's future. In conclusion, Nefertiti's role in this religious revolution was not confined to being a queen or the pharaoh's wife. She became a leader, a near-divine figure, and a transformative force in the eyes of the Egyptian people. Her vision and determination reshaped Egyptian society, creating a new world dedicated to Aten. Nefertiti's influence extended far beyond religious reforms. It left a lasting mark on Egypt's political structure as well. She played an almost equal role to Akhenaten in governing Egypt. What set her apart from other queens was that she was often depicted as a pharaoh. In wall paintings, statues, and monuments across Egypt, Nefertiti was frequently shown alongside Akhenaten, sometimes even in an equal position. This was an extraordinary departure from tradition, as queens typically played a more passive, secondary role, often overshadowed by the pharaoh. Nefertiti, however, completely redefined the traditional role of the queen. Nefertiti's most well-known and striking representation in art is her famous bust, now housed in Berlin. This bust not only symbolizes her beauty but also reflects her power and nobility. Her delicate and refined facial features, the large crown, and her confident gaze clearly show that she was one of the most powerful figures in Egypt. However, this bust is merely a reflection of her greater influence. Nefertiti, depicted with goddess-like elegance in the art of this era, was elevated to an almost divine status in the eyes of the people. Art during this period was not just a form of aesthetic expression but also a political tool. Nefertiti's image served as a powerful form of propaganda, strengthening her position in the eyes of the people and the priestly class. In Amarna art, Nefertiti is often depicted riding beside Akhenaten in a chariot or standing beneath the sacred rays of Aten, scenes that emphasize her role as an effective leader. She was more than just a queen, she was an active participant in shaping Egypt's new order. Nefertiti's power didn't simply come from standing beside Akhenaten. She is believed to have had significant influence over Akhenaten's decisions, and some speculate that she may have even made decisions on her own at times. Toward the end of Akhenaten's reign, some sources suggest that Nefertiti may have ruled independently for a period. While these claims remain debated, they offer clues to how far her power and authority extended. In particular, speculation that she took on the title of pharaoh after Akhenaten's death further supports the idea that Nefertiti was more than just a consort, she was a leader in her own right. In Egypt, pharaohs were considered divine, and Nefertiti was associated with this divine power. Her portrayal as a goddess led the people to see her as not only a ruler but also a near-divine figure. In traditional Egyptian art, pharaohs were often depicted alongside the gods, and Nefertiti joined this tradition. She stood as both a powerful woman beside Pharaoh Akhenaten and a divine leader in her own right. Nefertiti's extraordinary depictions in Egyptian art make it clear that she was one of the most powerful figures of her time. Art was a visual reflection of her authority and power, cementing her place as a unique leader in the eyes of the people. Nefertiti's power reached its peak during the final years of Akhenaten's reign. There is strong evidence to suggest that she operated not just as a queen but as a pharaoh-like figure. Toward the end of Akhenaten's rule, Nefertiti began to play a more prominent role in political affairs. It is believed that she made important decisions in governing Egypt, and after Akhenaten's death, she may have even ruled the kingdom on her own for a time. Many historians suggest that Nefertiti may have taken the title of pharaoh after Akhenaten's death. At that time, the lack of a male heir or the absence of a suitable candidate to succeed Akhenaten could have led Nefertiti to step in and rule Egypt. Although it remains a topic of debate whether she officially took on the title of pharaoh, it is clear that she possessed the political and religious authority to make significant decisions on her own during this period. Some historical records indicate that Nefertiti assumed the identity of a pharaoh under the name Nefertiti. This name suggests that she ruled independently and continued Akhenaten's religious revolution. During this time, Nefertiti acted as the divine representative of the gods, as pharaohs traditionally did, and maintained her divine authority in the eyes of the people. Moreover, there are depictions of her wearing the double crown of the pharaohs and being portrayed as a male ruler, which could be one of the rare examples in Egyptian history where a woman assumed the role of pharaoh. Nefertiti's rise to power wasn't solely due to her being at Akhenaten's side. Her leadership abilities, strategic intelligence, and influence over the people allowed her to maintain power even after his death. Many historians argue that during the time when Nefertiti ruled as the sole pharaoh, she successfully governed Egypt and continued the religious revolution dedicated to Aten. Some of the key political decisions made during this time further demonstrate her strength and independence as a leader. However, the final years of Nefertiti's reign remain shrouded in mystery. After Akhenaten's death, Nefertiti stayed in the public eye for a time, only to suddenly disappear from historical records. Very little information exists about her final years. Some historians speculate that she may have been exiled to another region of Egypt, while others suggest she was overthrown in a palace conspiracy. Regardless, it is clear that Nefertiti's reign as pharaoh had a significant impact on both the religious and political structure of Egypt. One of the key factors in Nefertiti's continued influence during this period was the weakness of Akhenaten's successors. Tutankhamun, who ascended to the throne as a child, may have allowed Nefertiti to act as Egypt's true leader for a time. It is highly likely that she held the full authority of a ruler, not merely as a symbolic figure, but as a powerful and decisive leader. Nefertiti's influence as a ruler demonstrates that she was far more than just a queen. It was rare for women to wield such power in Egyptian history, particularly among the ranks of the pharaohs. Yet, Nefertiti broke this tradition, rising to the position of pharaoh and governing Egypt according to her own vision. As Nefertiti rose to power alongside Akhenaten, the political intrigue and power struggles within the Egyptian court tested her abilities. Akhenaten's religious reforms and the establishment of the monotheistic Aten worship faced fierce resistance not only among the people but also within the royal court. Particularly, the priests of Ammonius Ra, whose influence was diminished by this religious revolution, pushed back in an effort to regain their power. These internal pressures shifted the balance of power in the palace, and Nefertiti played a critical role in maintaining her position in this complex political environment while standing firmly by Akhenaten's side. The priestly class of Egypt had long been the staunch defenders of the polytheistic system that had endured for millennia. The priests of the Ammonius temple wielded immense political and economic power and were deeply involved in the governance of Egypt. Akhenaten's religious revolution aimed to break this class's stranglehold, stripping them of much of their authority. But this movement was not only a religious reform, it was a major political maneuver to reshape the power dynamics within the court. Nefertiti was a central figure in this struggle, offering unwavering support to Akhenaten and playing a key role in the fight against the priestly class. Other nobles and court officials were forced to either support or oppose this revolution, with Nefertiti strategically using her political acumen to build alliances and neutralize threats to both herself and Akhenaten. Evidence from the art and written records of the period suggests that Nefertiti was not just involved in religious ceremonies but also actively participated in political negotiations. Her success in navigating the political intrigues and power struggles of the court highlights her ability to maintain her influence throughout this turbulent time in Egyptian history. One of Nefertiti's greatest achievements was her ability to maintain her power and influence even after Akhenaten's death. Following his death, Egypt's balance of power began to shift, and a power struggle erupted within the palace. The priestly class made a concerted effort to restore the old order, but Nefertiti remained steadfast, determined to preserve the religious revolution dedicated to Aten. During this period, her leadership evolved beyond her role as a religious figure. She became a central player in shaping the political future of Egypt. Some historians believe that during this time, Nefertiti may have ruled as a pharaoh, making significant political decisions independently. It is even suggested that she took on a new name and continued to reign, declaring herself as the sacred representative of Aten. This idea reinforces the notion that her power extended beyond religious matters and into the political sphere, marking her as one of the most strategic rulers of her time. Nefertiti's decisions during this critical period had a lasting impact on Egypt's future, making her one of the key figures in shaping its destiny. One of Nefertiti's greatest accomplishments after Akhenaten's death was maintaining power while Tutankhamun, the young heir, took the throne. Due to Tutankhamun's youth, Nefertiti continued to hold significant influence in the royal palace, acting as the de facto leader during his early years. It is believed that she had a major influence on the young pharaoh's decisions, serving as a guiding force in Egyptian politics. This period highlights Nefertiti's sustained presence as not only a queen but a powerful political leader in her own right. However, Nefertiti's prominent role in these political dynamics also led to the rise of enemies within the palace. Some factions within the royal court sought to limit her power and restore the old order. While it is unclear exactly what political maneuvers Nefertiti employed to maintain her position, it is evident that her determination and intelligence helped her navigate the complex power struggles of the court. The political intrigue during this time became a significant test of her strength, further cementing her role as a formidable leader. Nefertiti continued to govern Egypt as a strong leader even after Akhenaten's death, skillfully managing the shifting power dynamics within the palace and playing a critical role in decisions that shaped Egypt's future. Her political abilities demonstrate that she was more than just a queen who rose to power alongside Akhenaten. She was a leader in her own right. One of the greatest mysteries surrounding Nefertiti's life is her sudden disappearance from the historical record during the later years of her reign. While it is believed that she retained power and may have even ruled as pharaoh for a time after Akhenaten's death, her abrupt departure from history remains an unsolved enigma for historians and archaeologists. There is no definitive record of her death, and her final years have become the subject of various theories and speculation. One theory suggests that Nefertiti fell from grace after the failure of the religious revolution she and Akhenaten had championed. In this scenario, she may have lost her influence due to resistance from both the Egyptian people and the priestly class. Her efforts to sustain the Aten faith may have ultimately been defeated by the restoration of the old gods, particularly as the Ammonius priests and defenders of the traditional order regained power. According to this theory, Nefertiti may have been forced to step down from her position as a result of these struggles. Another theory proposes that Nefertiti was overthrown in a palace coup. This theory suggests that internal court intrigues and power plays led to her downfall, possibly resulting in her death. There is some evidence to suggest that Ammonius priests and other defenders of the old order may have conspired to remove her from power. While these theories remain speculative, they offer a glimpse into the volatile environment of the Egyptian court and the powerful opposition Nefertiti may have faced. As Nefertiti rose to power alongside Akhenaten, the political intrigue and power struggles within the Egyptian court tested her abilities. Akhenaten's religious reforms and the establishment of the monotheistic Aten worship faced fierce resistance not only among the people but also within the royal court. Particularly, the priests of Ammonius Ra, whose influence was diminished by this religious revolution, pushed back in an effort to regain their power. These internal pressures shifted the balance of power in the palace, and Nefertiti played a critical role in maintaining her position in this complex political environment while standing firmly by Akhenaten's side. The priestly class of Egypt had long been the staunch defenders of the polytheistic system that had endured for millennia. The priests of the Ammonius temple wielded immense political and economic power and were deeply involved in the governance of Egypt. Akhenaten's religious revolution aimed to break this class's stranglehold, stripping them of much of their authority. But this movement was not only a religious reform, it was a major political maneuver to reshape the power dynamics within the court. Nefertiti was a central figure in this struggle, offering unwavering support to Akhenaten and playing a key role in the fight against the priestly class. Other nobles and court officials were forced to either support or oppose this revolution, with Nefertiti strategically using her political acumen to build alliances and neutralize threats to both herself and Akhenaten. Evidence from the art and written records of the period suggests that Nefertiti was not just involved in religious ceremonies but also actively participated in political negotiations. Her success in navigating the political intrigues and power struggles of the court highlights her ability to maintain her influence throughout this turbulent time in Egyptian history. One of Nefertiti's greatest achievements was her ability to maintain her power and influence even after Akhenaten's death. Following his death, Egypt's balance of power began to shift, and a power struggle erupted within the palace. The priestly class made a concerted effort to restore the old order, but Nefertiti remained steadfast, determined to preserve the religious revolution dedicated to Aten. During this period, her leadership evolved beyond her role as a religious figure. She became a central player in shaping the political future of Egypt. Some historians believe that during this time, Nefertiti may have ruled as a pharaoh, making significant political decisions independently. It is even suggested that she took on a new name and continued to reign, declaring herself as the sacred representative of Aten. This idea reinforces the notion that her power extended beyond religious matters and into the political sphere, marking her as one of the most strategic rulers of her time. Nefertiti's decisions during this critical period had a lasting impact on Egypt's future, making her one of the key figures in shaping its destiny. One of Nefertiti's greatest accomplishments after Akhenaten's death was maintaining power while Tutankhamun, the young heir, took the throne. Due to Tutankhamun's youth, Nefertiti continued to hold significant influence in the royal palace, acting as the de facto leader during his early years. It is believed that she had a major influence on the young pharaoh's decisions, serving as a guiding force in Egyptian politics. This period highlights Nefertiti's sustained presence as not only a queen but a powerful political leader in her own right. However, Nefertiti's prominent role in these political dynamics also led to the rise of enemies within the palace. Some factions within the royal court sought to limit her power and restore the old order. While it is unclear exactly what political maneuvers Nefertiti employed to maintain her position, it is evident that her determination and intelligence helped her navigate the complex power struggles of the court. The political intrigue during this time became a significant test of her strength, further cementing her role as a formidable leader. Nefertiti continued to govern Egypt as a strong leader even after Akhenaten's death, skillfully managing the shifting power dynamics within the palace and playing a critical role in decisions that shaped Egypt's future. Her political abilities demonstrate that she was more than just a queen who rose to power alongside Akhenaten. She was a leader in her own right. One of the greatest mysteries surrounding Nefertiti's life is her sudden disappearance from the historical record during the later years of her reign. While it is believed that she retained power and may have even ruled as pharaoh for a time after Akhenaten's death, her abrupt departure from history remains an unsolved enigma for historians and archaeologists. There is no definitive record of her death, and her final years have become the subject of various theories and speculation. One theory suggests that Nefertiti fell from grace after the failure of the religious revolution she and Akhenaten had championed. In this scenario, she may have lost her influence due to resistance from both the Egyptian people and the priestly class. Her efforts to sustain the Aten faith may have ultimately been defeated by the restoration of the old gods, particularly as the Ammonian priests and defenders of the traditional order regained power. According to this theory, Nefertiti may have been forced to step down from her position as a result of these struggles. Another theory proposes that Nefertiti was overthrown in a palace coup. This theory suggests that internal court intrigues and power plays led to her downfall, possibly resulting in her death. There is some evidence to suggest that Ammonian priests and other defenders of the old order may have conspired to remove her from power. While these theories remain speculative, they offer a glimpse into the volatile environment of the Egyptian court and the powerful opposition Nefertiti may have faced. Nefertiti's contributions to art and culture form a significant part of her enduring legacy. The art of the Amarna period, which deviated significantly from traditional Egyptian art, became a hallmark of this era, with Nefertiti as one of its most iconic figures. Her portraits, statues, and depictions emphasized not only her beauty but also her power and authority. The famous Nefertiti bust displayed in Berlin, one of the most recognized ancient artifacts in the world, immortalizes her legacy globally. The elegance and craftsmanship of this bust showcased Nefertiti not just as a queen, but as a symbol of art and aesthetics. She became an emblem of beauty and artistic innovation, celebrated in both ancient Egyptian history and the modern world. Another vital aspect of Nefertiti's legacy is her pioneering role in female leadership. While Egypt had seen powerful women in its history, Nefertiti's influence and authority set her apart from other queens. During her co-regency with Akhenaten, Nefertiti was more than a supportive consort, she was a leader shaping Egypt's political and religious decisions. It was rare for women in ancient Egypt to hold such vast political and religious power, and Nefertiti became an inspiration in this regard. Her charisma and leadership ensured that she was remembered as a figure who inspired women, not only in her own time but throughout history. Furthermore, the religious revolution that Nefertiti helped lead with Akhenaten marked a significant turning point in ancient Egyptian history. Although the Aten belief system was short-lived, this religious movement radically transformed Egypt's religious structure and the role of the royal family. Nefertiti was not merely a supporter of this revolution, she was its symbol and advocate. Frequently depicted in the temples dedicated to Aten, Nefertiti was seen by the people as more than just a queen, she was viewed as a divine figure. Her role as a religious leader broke the traditional boundaries of female power in ancient Egypt, providing a strong example of how royal women could wield significant influence. Even centuries after her death, Nefertiti's influence continued to resonate within the societal and cultural framework of ancient Egypt. The erasure of her name from official records may have been an attempt by the defenders of the old order to remove her legacy, but despite these efforts, her contributions endured through art and historical documents. Nefertiti's reign not only left a mark on Egyptian history but also influenced the course of world history. Nefertiti is one of the few women in history remembered as both a queen and a ruler. Her strength, leadership, and enduring legacy have left a lasting impact, not only on our own era but also across the centuries. Her mysterious life and remarkable reign have cemented her as one of the greatest female leaders in history, and her name continues to be spoken with reverence today. Nefertiti's legacy extended far beyond ancient Egypt. Her captivating story and remarkable power have turned her into a modern-day icon. Especially in the 20th century, with the discovery of her famous bust in Berlin, Nefertiti became a globally recognized figure. This bust, one of the most famous works of art from Egypt, has helped solidify her place in the collective memory as a symbol of beauty, elegance, and leadership. The bust of Nefertiti was discovered in 1912 by German archaeologist Ludwig Borchardt at Amarna. Its discovery once again brought Nefertiti to the forefront of world history, accelerating her status as an icon. The extraordinary craftsmanship of the bust, with its graceful facial features, slender neck, and distinctive crown, illustrates just how important Nefertiti was as both an artistic and cultural figure. The serene expression captured in the bust reflects Nefertiti's strength as a leader and her grace as a woman. This masterpiece has played a vital role in shaping Nefertiti into a timeless figure, symbolizing the union of beauty and power. As the bust went on display in Berlin, Nefertiti's name found a significant place in modern art and popular culture. The piece, representing both beauty and strength, attracted visitors from all over the world, elevating Nefertiti to iconic status. As a symbol of ideal beauty, Nefertiti has had a profound impact on fashion, art, and culture. Her elegance has even influenced modern beauty standards. Makeup brands, artists, and designers have drawn inspiration from Nefertiti's portrait and aesthetic, incorporating her image into contemporary creations. This demonstrates that Nefertiti has transcended her historical role and become a fashion and cultural icon. Nefertiti's influence on modern art is also noteworthy. Her mysterious life and captivating beauty have inspired countless artists across various mediums. Painters, sculptors, and writers continue to find inspiration in her image. Particularly, the crown she wore and the symmetry of her bust have become iconic symbols in the art world. Nefertiti represents more than just a historical leader, she embodies modern aesthetic and artistic values. In addition to her influence on art, Nefertiti has secured a prominent place in popular culture. Her story has been revived countless times in films, books, documentaries, and fashion shows. In popular culture, she endures as both a queen and a legend. Alongside other legendary queens like Cleopatra, Nefertiti has ascended to a near mythical status in the modern world. Her leadership and beauty continue to inspire powerful women today, making Nefertiti a symbol of strength and grace for generations to come. Nefertiti's influence transcended the realms of art and culture, becoming a powerful symbol for feminist movements as well. As a strong female leader, Nefertiti is recognized as one of the historical women who changed the course of history. Her strength and influence have often been referenced in feminist struggles advocating for greater female participation in public life. Nefertiti represents not only beauty and elegance, but also the fight for women's political and social empowerment. One of the reasons Nefertiti remains such a prominent figure today is the mystery that still surrounds her life. The fact that her tomb has never been found, and that there is little concrete information about her later years, has only amplified her allure. This sense of mystery has made her an even more captivating figure, as people throughout history have tried to unravel the secrets of her life. The intrigue surrounding Nefertiti has kept the fascination with her alive, even in modern times. In conclusion, Nefertiti continues to be a significant figure, not just in Egyptian history but in world history as well. Her leadership, bravery, beauty, and contributions to art have made her an immortal icon. As one of history's most powerful women, Nefertiti's influence persists in the modern world. She is remembered not just as an ancient queen but as one of the most impactful women in history, whose life and legacy transcend time and geography. Even after her death, Nefertiti's influence continued to echo through the depths of history. She remains a powerful example of what female leadership can be, etched into the collective memory not just as a queen or ruler, but as one of the most concrete examples of a strong woman leader. Her name, mentioned alongside other great women of history, is still associated with leadership, grace, and beauty today. Nefertiti has become a powerful symbol not just in Egypt's history but across the world. Throughout periods of female empowerment, Nefertiti's name resurfaces as a symbol of strength and courage. Her leadership and bravery became a sign of how important women's roles could be in society. The existence of such a powerful woman in a male-dominated world marked a pivotal point, showing that women could hold significant roles in leadership, politics, and religion. Nefertiti is a testament to the capability of women not only in Egypt but globally, and this is why she continues to inspire modern female leaders. Her status as a symbol has been reinforced by her iconic image, combining beauty with intellect. The famous bust of Nefertiti is not just a piece of art representing beauty standards, but also a symbol of the authority and power of a female leader. Her facial features, elegance, and commanding posture have made her a universal emblem for women leaders throughout history. Even today, this bust continues to inspire the worlds of art, fashion, and popular culture, showing how timeless Nefertiti's figure is and why she is still remembered so strongly. Nefertiti, through her life, legacy, and imagery, remains a source of inspiration, representing the potential for women to lead, influence, and transform the world around them. Nefertiti's enduring image as a divine figure, even after her death, highlights the profound religious role she played. For the people of Egypt, she was not merely a ruler but a representation of the gods on earth. Her pivotal role in the Aten faith and the revolutionary changes she initiated left a lasting impression among the populace. Though the Aten religion weakened after Akhenaten's death, the influence of Nefertiti's religious efforts persisted, and she was remembered as a divine figure by the Egyptian people. Nefertiti's political and religious revolutions not only changed the course of Egyptian history but also had an impact on world history. Theories suggesting that she ruled as pharaoh after Akhenaten further reinforce her status as more than just a queen. She was an independent leader who forged her own path. The decisions she made during her reign as a possible pharaoh played a key role in shaping Egypt's future, showcasing the depth of her power and authority. The ongoing fascination with Nefertiti can also be attributed to the many mysteries surrounding her life. The fact that her tomb has not been found, coupled with the lack of clear information about her final years, adds to her mystique. Her disappearance from historical records after her death and the subsequent erasure of her name for a period only deepen the intrigue. Historians and archaeologists continue to search for her tomb, hoping to uncover more about her life and legacy. This mystery has fueled legends about Nefertiti and keeps the interest in her story alive, even in the modern world. Nefertiti has paved the way for many influential women throughout history, setting an example of female leadership and strength. Her role in one of the most significant revolutions in Egyptian history, along with her strong political presence, combined beauty and leadership in a way that has made her one of the most unforgettable figures of history. Nefertiti's name has become a symbol, not just for the people of Egypt, but globally. Even today, she is remembered as one of the most important examples of female leadership and strength. In conclusion, Nefertiti's influence and legacy have transcended time. Her leadership style, determination, and beauty have served as sources of inspiration throughout the ages. In the modern world, her name continues to symbolize power, grace, and leadership. She has become immortalized not only as a figure in Egyptian history but as one of the most impactful figures in world history. Nefertiti's legacy goes beyond ancient Egypt, leaving a lasting mark on world history. She is remembered not only for her beauty and elegance but also for the social, political, and religious revolutions she helped lead in Egypt. As both a powerful female figure and an influential leader, Nefertiti has secured her place in the annals of history. One of the reasons she remains such an important figure is her unique leadership during a time when women's societal roles were far more limited, making her leadership even more remarkable. Nefertiti is recognized as a leader who pioneered significant religious reforms in her time, striving to fundamentally change Egypt's polytheistic belief system. The Aten revolution she initiated alongside Akhenaten was an effort to transform the religious structure of Egypt. Her emergence as a prominent figure in this new religious order, with temples dedicated to Aten, established her not merely as a queen but also as a religious leader in history. For the people of Egypt, Nefertiti was not just a queen but also a divine figure, often depicted in temples alongside goddesses and viewed as a representative of the gods. Nefertiti's influence on art was profound. The art of the Amarna period is known for its distinct style that developed under her leadership, markedly different from classical Egyptian art. During this time, Nefertiti's portraits and statues left a lasting impression in the minds of the people, highlighting her beauty, power, and elegance. Her significant presence in art reinforced her status within Egyptian society and her impact on the populace. Her sculptures and busts were not merely artistic expressions, they also reflected her power and authority. Nefertiti's leadership demonstrated the potential effectiveness of women in social and political life. While women in many periods of history often remained overshadowed by kings or male leaders, Nefertiti broke this tradition, emerging as a leader in her own right. Her equal positioning alongside Akhenaten exemplified how powerful women could be in politics. Although women in Egypt had held important roles in the royal family before, Nefertiti's strength and influence took this to a new level. Another significant legacy of Nefertiti is the fusion of beauty and leadership. While her name is often associated with beauty in history, her leadership abilities were equally significant. Though her bust has become a global symbol of beauty and elegance, Nefertiti's political power and vision extend far beyond this aesthetic image. She was not just a beautiful queen but a strong ruler who played an active role in Egypt's governance and religious reforms. Nefertiti's strength and influence have also served as inspiration for many female leaders worldwide. Her leadership as a queen serves as a testament to what women can achieve in society and politics. In the modern world, Nefertiti has become a symbol for strong and determined female leaders. Her legacy continues to inspire the empowerment of women and encourages their increased participation in political arenas. The enduring impact of Nefertiti on both Egyptian and world history has solidified her status as one of history's most compelling figures. Her leadership, courage, and vision serve as an enduring legacy not just for the people of Egypt, but for the world. Even today, Nefertiti's name is remembered as a symbol of women's power and leadership roles in society. Nefertiti's legacy extends beyond her historical leadership, becoming a symbol of beauty and aesthetic ideals in the modern world. Her elegance and power continue to resonate through contemporary art, fashion, and popular culture. The famous bust of Nefertiti, prominently displayed in Berlin, has played a major role in establishing her as an aesthetic icon on a global scale. The breathtaking beauty and perfect symmetry of the bust have positioned Nefertiti as the pinnacle of aesthetic ideals. When you first encounter the bust, Nefertiti's refined features, the grace of her posture, and the depth of expression in her eyes immediately capture attention. It is more than just a portrait of a historical figure, it is a masterpiece of aesthetic beauty. Nefertiti's appearance has had a profound influence on modern fashion and art, inspiring countless creative projects. From the moment the bust was discovered, Nefertiti became a symbol of ideal beauty in the fashion world and in art. Her large crown, slender neck, and delicate facial features have been incorporated into many designers' collections, with her image frequently revived in fashion shows. Nefertiti's association with beauty and grace has come to represent not just ancient Egyptian aesthetics, but a universal ideal of beauty. In the modern world, her bust has appeared in fashion shoots, magazine covers, and artistic works, emphasizing the vast and global influence of her aesthetic impact. In particular, Her iconic crown and dramatic eye makeup have been referenced in fashion, with her striking gaze inspiring numerous artistic endeavors. Even today, Nefertiti's eye makeup, characterized by bold eyeliner and defined brows, remains a trend in modern beauty standards. Her aesthetic ideals also continue to influence modern sculpture and architecture. The posture of the bust, with its balance of strength and elegance, has inspired contemporary sculptors who see in Nefertiti a timeless expression of power and grace. This aesthetic legacy has moved beyond the realm of Egyptian culture, becoming a symbol of universal beauty. Architects and designers have drawn from Nefertiti's symmetry, her statuesque poise, and her elegance, incorporating these elements into modern designs that pay tribute to her influence. However, Nefertiti's lasting status as a modern-day aesthetic icon is not solely based on her physical beauty but also on the strength she exuded as a leader. There was a perfect balance between her elegance and her leadership abilities. While Nefertiti's beauty may have captured attention, it was her power and courage that made her unforgettable. The combination of these two qualities, beauty and strength, has transformed her into more than just a fashion or art figure. She is a symbol of powerful women. This is why Nefertiti continues to serve as an inspiration in modern feminist movements. Her aesthetic ideals represent not only beauty but the harmonious blend of power and grace. Nefertiti's unique place in modern culture as both an aesthetic and symbolic figure shows how her legacy has transcended time. She is not only remembered for her beauty but also for the strength of her leadership, making her an enduring symbol of what it means to embody both elegance and power. Nefertiti's aesthetic influence extends to numerous films and television series, where her iconic image has been used to emphasize both her beauty and leadership. From historical films to fashion documentaries, her likeness is widely recognized, bringing her story to modern cinema audiences. This highlights how Nefertiti's legacy is not simply confined to historical knowledge but has become an integral part of modern culture. While Nefertiti is celebrated for her beauty and elegance, it is her combination of physical grace with powerful leadership that gives her legacy deeper meaning. In today's world, she symbolizes both physical beauty and steadfast leadership. Her aesthetic legacy represents the perfect blend of power and elegance, ensuring that she remains a memorable figure for centuries. Even today, Nefertiti continues to inspire countless artists, fashion designers, and creatives. In conclusion, Nefertiti's aesthetic legacy has left a profound impact not just on Egyptian history, but on global art and modern culture. Her beauty, elegance, and power live on in the aesthetic sensibilities of today's world. Nefertiti remains an iconic figure in the worlds of art and fashion, where the fusion of beauty and strength continues to inspire. Nefertiti's historical significance is not limited to her beauty and grace, but also to the courage and vision she demonstrated as a female leader. Her influence on royal power stands out as unique when compared to other female rulers of her time. In modern times, Nefertiti is regarded as a powerful example of women in leadership, especially in how women can take on prominent roles in society, politics, and the arts. Her leadership, characterized by determination and vision in a male-dominated society, is particularly noteworthy. In ancient Egypt, where men typically held the throne, Nefertiti emerged as a transformative figure. Alongside Akhenaten, she played a key role in revolutionary reforms that sought to reshape Egypt's religious, political, and social structures. The transition to the worship of Aten, which challenged Egypt's long-standing polytheistic beliefs, was a bold change, and Nefertiti stood at the forefront of this movement. Her leadership in these reforms earned her recognition as one of the most powerful female figures in history. This revolutionary spirit continues to inspire modern-day female leaders. For today's women, Nefertiti is not just a historical figure, but a symbol of leadership, power, and courage. The bold decisions she made with Akhenaten left a lasting impact on Egypt's social and religious systems. Nefertiti was more than a pharaoh's wife or a queen. She was Akhenaten's strongest supporter, a political leader, and a champion of religious reforms. Nefertiti's legacy endures, and her story continues to inspire women across the globe. Through her blend of beauty, grace, and strength, Nefertiti remains an eternal symbol of female empowerment and leadership. Nefertiti's leadership abilities have become a source of inspiration for modern feminist movements and advocates of women's rights. In movements that promote greater visibility and participation of women in social and political life, Nefertiti is often cited as one of history's most powerful female leaders. Her example serves as proof that women can be both strong leaders and inspirational figures. Throughout history, as women have demanded more rights and assertive roles in society, figures like Nefertiti have provided a model of what women can achieve. Nefertiti's leadership legacy has been revived in every era where women's roles in society have transformed. When women sought to increase their visibility and voice in public life, Nefertiti's example stood out as a beacon of possibility. Her position as a ruler, one as powerful and influential as a pharaoh, was a rare occurrence in history, making her a vital role model for female leaders, especially in the modern world. She became a symbol not only of her time, but for all future generations of strong women leaders. Nefertiti's political skills and strategic intelligence were integral to highlighting her leadership capabilities. In her active role alongside Akhenaten in their political and religious reforms, Nefertiti proved herself to be much more than just a supportive spouse. She was an independent decision-maker. The decisions she made while governing Egypt reflect her sharp political acumen and leadership strength. In the eyes of the Egyptian people, she was not only a ruler but also a reformer. Even today, in discussions about leadership, Nefertiti is remembered as a bold and innovative leader. This powerful leadership role has inspired more women to take on active roles in governance and politics in the modern world. Nefertiti's story demonstrates that women can actively participate in decision-making processes and lead important political reforms. Throughout history, women have found more avenues for self-expression and leadership, thanks in part to the path forged by leaders like Nefertiti. This enduring legacy has cemented Nefertiti's place as a symbol of powerful female leadership in the contemporary world. Nefertiti's influence over the people and the admiration she commanded exemplify how women's leadership roles in society can undergo significant transformation. Her charisma resonated not only within the palace but also among the people, earning her widespread respect and adoration. This bond with the people serves as a critical lesson for modern leaders, especially women, on how to cultivate a strong relationship with those they govern. Many successful female leaders today draw inspiration from Nefertiti's ability to connect with her people, adopting similar leadership styles. In conclusion, Nefertiti's role as a leader offers a powerful example for the empowerment of women in the modern world, encouraging their participation in politics and other spheres of public life. She is remembered not only as one of Egypt's greatest leaders, but as one of the most influential female figures in world history. Her bold decisions and resolute leadership have left a lasting legacy, showing how women can gain power and influence throughout history. Nefertiti remains a timeless symbol of strength and leadership for women around the world, Nefertiti was a pivotal figure who brought revolutionary changes to the religious and political life of ancient Egypt, pushing the boundaries of female leadership and captivating both her contemporaries and future generations with her beauty. Her legacy continues to resonate powerfully in both ancient Egyptian history and the modern world. Nefertiti is remembered not only as a lasting figure in history but also as a symbol of the significant roles women can play in political, religious, and social spheres. She shaped not just the history of Egypt, but also that of the world. One of the primary reasons Nefertiti became such a lasting figure is her strength and determination. While women in Egyptian history often remained in the shadows of kings and pharaohs, Nefertiti broke this tradition and ruled as an independent leader. The religious revolution she initiated alongside Akhenaten transformed not only Egypt's religious structure but also showcased the considerable influence women could wield in positions of power. Nefertiti rose beyond the title of queen to wield power comparable to that of a pharaoh. Her ability to make independent political and religious decisions is the clearest testament to this power. Her portrayal as a divine figure further enhanced her influence over the people and immortalized her in history. Frequently depicted alongside goddesses in Egyptian art, Nefertiti was regarded as nearly a divine entity in the eyes of the public. Consequently, her image has become a symbol not just in Egypt, but around the world. Seen as the earthly representative of the gods due to her power and authority, Nefertiti has secured an everlasting place in the hearts of the people through this divine imagery. Nefertiti's beauty is also a significant part of her enduring impact. Her beauty has been a frequently emphasized characteristic in Egyptian art and history. The famous bust of Nefertiti, in particular, has evoked admiration for her physical elegance and aesthetic values over the centuries. Displayed in Berlin, this bust has become a global symbol of beauty, leaving a lasting impact on modern art, fashion, and aesthetic standards. Nefertiti is remembered not just as a ruler, but also as a representation of beauty and aesthetic values, contributing to her lasting presence throughout history. However, Nefertiti's legacy is not limited to her beauty or power. The reforms she implemented and the bold decisions she made transformed the social structure of ancient Egypt and underscored the importance of women's leadership roles. Her political strategies illustrate how she maintained her power against palace intrigues and religious pressures. She was not only a reformer but also a strategist who left a mark on history. Even after Akhenaten's death, she managed to preserve her influence and remained impactful among the people. Nefertiti's story exemplifies the potential for women to assume leadership roles and shape history. Her blend of beauty, strength, and strategic acumen has cemented her place as one of the most powerful female figures in history. Today, Nefertiti continues to inspire women and serve as a symbol of the significant roles they can play in society. Her legacy, encompassing beauty, power, and impactful leadership, remains a vital part of both ancient and modern narratives. Today, Nefertiti has transcended her role as merely a historical figure. Her name is now synonymous with powerful women leaders, aesthetic values, and courageous decisions worldwide. In the modern era, artists, fashion designers, and filmmakers continue to draw inspiration from Nefertiti's story. Her image, symbolizing beauty, elegance, and leadership, is being reinterpreted and brought to life across various creative fields. Nefertiti has become not just a historical figure, but a living icon in contemporary culture. One significant reason for Nefertiti's enduring impact is the mystery surrounding her. The lack of her tomb's discovery, the uncertainties following her death, and the vague accounts mentioned in history books have made her one of history's most enigmatic figures. This mystery adds to her allure, prompting archaeologists and historians to continue their efforts to unravel Nefertiti's story. Each new discovery sheds fresh light on her life and legacy, ensuring that interest in her remains vibrant. In conclusion, Nefertiti has become a lasting figure not only in ancient Egypt but also in world history. Her leadership abilities, religious reforms, and aesthetic legacy have resonated throughout history and continue to exert influence even in the modern world. Nefertiti stands as an inspiration in art, politics, and social life, embodying the archetype of a powerful and graceful woman. With her strength, beauty, and courage, Nefertiti will be remembered as a leader and source of inspiration that transcends time. Thus, we have delved into the depths of Nefertiti's fascinating life and her remarkable legacy. She was not just a queen, but also a leader, a reformer, and an inspiration. Nefertiti demonstrated what a powerful woman could achieve and fundamentally changed the religious and social fabric of Egypt. While her beauty and grace have been remembered for centuries, her courage and determination continue to serve as a strong example for female leaders today. The profound marks she left on ancient Egypt resonate as a legacy that still echoes in the modern world. In sharing her story, we witnessed a perfect fusion of leadership, aesthetics, and courage. Nefertiti has become a symbol of strong and determined women worldwide. Her lasting legacy continues to thrive in both the depths of history and in contemporary society. With her life filled with mysteries, beauty, and strength, Nefertiti remains one of history's immortal figures. Her story reminds us of the importance of steadfastness, leadership, and vision. Thank you for joining us on this historical journey today. May the strength and grace of Nefertiti continue to inspire us all.